The Old Man Glitch. Now, this is a glitch that occurs in red and blue if the player activates the Pokemon catching tutorial with a full party and full box of Pokemon. And what ends up happening is that the old man can't actually complete his tutorial and will lock you as the player in. Obviously, this may cause some difficulty in you actually, well, doing this sort of task. Actually making this glitch happen is difficult because you don't really get a lot of Pokemon at the beginning of the game, but you can also skip him and, go back and do the tutorial later to still give you this glitch. And this glitch is actually necessary for some other stuff, but it's just one of the initial glitches that's very much there. Off-screen Pikachu glitch. Now, this one is very interesting. Basically, this glitch can be used to access other things, such as Glitch City. Basically, there are in-game events that will cause Pikachu, your walking Pikachu, to actually stay behind. But what you can then do, if it does stay behind, is walk off-screen, which will cause a memory corruption glitch, such as Glitch City, and cause NPCs to turn where they shouldn't, or even having the save file deleted. So it's a bit of a crazy one, but basically, if you're in-game and you find, for example, Jigglypuff in Pewter City and you talk to it, Pikachu will basically just stay behind as you walk away. And you can also have Pikachu meeting Bill at Cerulean Cape, and Pikachu falling in love with Clefairy at the Pokemon Fan Club. And all of this can cause it to stay behind while you walk off the screen, which is very strange and can cause the glitches to happen. In Pokemon Gold and Silver, we have the Celebi Egg glitch. Now, the Celebi Egg glitch is a glitch that actually allows the user to obtain almost any Pokemon within Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. But I should point out, though, it is also very useful if you want to get your hands on Celebi, which normally would be an event Pokemon that normally wouldn't be available in regular gameplay. However, to do this, there are a few requirements, and it does take a bit of time, but you need an egg, a bad clone, and any 5 Pokemon. So it requires a little bit of work to get it going, but eventually you can actually get yourself a Celebi, which will hatch at level 0, and it will just cause a bunch of weird stuff to happen. But yeah, basically a cool glitch that can give you essentially any Pokemon in the game. Next up is the Dude Full Box glitch. Now, this one is possible in Pokemon Crystal German version, and basically what it allows you is to obtain max money with this glitch, which is pretty awesome. So all you gotta really do is start a new game, play up to the point of getting the Pokedex, visit Cherry Grove City Pokemart, buy a bunch of stuff, and then find a Weedle on Route 30, morning or day, and get poisoned by Poison Sting. Then walk to Elm's lab and talk to him about the stolen Pokemon, and after you've done this, before leaving New Bark Town, white out from the poison to respawn at Cherry Grove City. Fill your current box and party with about 20 Pokemon, and then return to the dude on Route 29. Have him ask you if you want to know how to catch a Pokemon. He must stop and actually walk up to you and talk to you. You don't have the option to actually see the catching demonstration with a full box otherwise. But once you've done this, it will just kind of glitch out the game, and the huge amount of money will be given to you. So it's pretty awesome, and shout out to Chickasaurus GL for actually figuring this out. This next one is also from Chickasaurus GL, which is pretty interesting. Basically, during a battle, if you as the player in Ruby and Sapphire, you have a Pokemon that deals more than 33,037 damage all at once, the opposing Pokemon will faint without actually having its HP bar being drained. And if the damage dealt in one hit is exactly 33,037, the HP bar drains instantly, which is pretty crazy. So it's just a bit of a weird thing that happens, probably something to do with the numbers in the game where it doesn't register it properly. Next up, we have a glitch from Pokemon Emerald, specifically a duplication glitch, which you guys can do. To do this, you gotta head over to the Battle Tower specifically to actually make it happen. And there are a few different things. You gotta save in front of the PC, open the PC and withdraw the Pokemon you want to duplicate. Any Pokemon that you move from your party to the PC at this time will be deleted. So just make sure that you start the process with empty spots in your party, because otherwise it will cause things to happen. And I might include on the screen here, you guys can see exactly what to do, but what this will cause will actually be a duplication of existing Pokemon, so you can just clone a bunch of them and have loads of them. And I'm gonna be honest, Emerald has many more actual glitches that you can use. For example, the dive glitch, which I think is available in Ruby and Sapphire as well. In this case, you can actually use it to dive out of bounds. As you guys can see right here, you can actually use this to literally get out of bounds of the map, which normally wouldn't be possible in Ruby and Sapphire. And I think this is because the Marine Cave is the one that is necessary for this to happen. I think so, at least. But either way, let's move on to the next. Next up, we have the Roaming Roar bug. Now, this is a glitch that can happen if a roaming Pokemon uses Roar to flee from battle. It will no longer appear in the wild, which would actually mean that you will no longer be able to find it within that save file. Now, this can, of course, be avoided if the roaming Pokemon is affected by Encore or Taunt, or if the player just happens to be affected by Ingrain or has Soundproof or Suction Cups. So yeah, it was a weird bug in Fire Red Leaf Green. Don't know why this bug was there. I feel like that should be kind of avoidable easily, but nonetheless. Next up, we have the Surf glitch in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Now, this is a glitch that can be found in the Japanese versions of Diamond and Pearl and is well known for one specific thing, a way for you to get your hands on the mythical Pokemon Darkrai and Shaman, as normally they wouldn't be available in regular gameplay without certain items being given to you or certain events that are given by Nintendo. But it's really interesting. It is one of the 2 glitches in Pokemon Generation 4 officially acknowledged by Nintendo as well, with the other one being the broken escalator oversight within the game. So it's pretty crazy because this is the Void glitch. You guys have most likely heard about this one, but it's a good one to know because in a weird way, it is available in the future as well in BDSP. A version of it existed in those games as well, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, originally it was only possible in the Japanese version. I think nowadays most people have figured it out to do it in other versions as well, but I could be wrong. Nonetheless though, it makes you able to surf and glitch out of bounds out of the map to gain access to certain locations. One of these locations could be either the island where Darkrai is at or the location where Shaman would be at, which is pretty awesome. This is a small bug found in Pokemon Platinum by going underground on Route 227 and between Route 226 and basically standing on the horizontal row within the first patch of the tall grass and then coming back up from the underground will cause you as the player to be partly underground. Now, leaving this area causes the player to return to normal, but just a fun little thing that can actually happen. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you have the walking Pokemon glitch. Now, if the menu is open while your walking Pokemon jumps off a ledge and the player checks the status screen of any Pokemon in their party, the Pokemon will get a bit higher up and further away from you. So viewing the stats of a Pokemon continuously will actually cause the Pokemon to go off screen as seen right here. In the Japanese versions of Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, if you as the player lose to Lady Colette in the Nimbasa gym, well, you guys will be in for something interesting. While directly facing her when she is encountered, this glitch will occur. And when you as the player come back in, she'll be standing in the same spot and will battle the player after she is defeated. She will still remain on the tracks of the actual roller coaster, and as you go through, you'll notice that there is basically, well, almost like 2 of her, which is really weird. Then you have the box glitch within Pokemon Black and White 2. Now, this is a glitch in the games that lets you view a red silhouette of a Pokemon or give it the wrong mini sprite. This is really strange, but basically, you just have to load up your box via the Move Pokemon, select the Pokemon, but don't do anything with it. While the Pokemon is still selected, change boxes by touching the box name, and then select Switch Box, and then going to another box. Go back to the original box, and the Pokemon may actually disappear. This doesn't always work, so you may have to try a few times to make it happen, but eventually, will give you this visual glitch that looks a little bit weird. This is a small glitch in Pokemon X and Y where basically facing the wrong direction you can actually read signs which normally wouldn't be possible. Then there is the surfing Wailmer freeze glitch within Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Now what this glitch does is actually it just freezes your full game. It is really weird, but basically if you surf on the water surrounding Moss Deep City using a Wailmer, and basically you will have a weird situation, right? If while riding the Wailmer you use a rod and have it level up and evolve after that battle, the game will actually lock up with the music still playing, but you just having 2 black screens on both top and bottom. This could have to do with the fact that, well, you're riding on a model of Wailmer because you're literally surfing on Wailmer, one of like few Pokemon that actually has a model that can be seen in the game as a surfing one, and as such, it will just cause the game to kind of go crazy and you will end up with 2 black screens. It is kind of interesting and a little bit terrifying. So, some of the early versions of Pokemon, I think Sun and Moon, had some copies of the game that were a little bit crazy. They were kind of having this weird glitch where basically the 3D model would kind of spaz out and get stuck in the default 3D like T-pose position, and a bunch of graphical elements would start like stretching and shrinking and just go all over the place, and it will cause even this map glitch right here, as you guys can see, can also be caused by this. It's kind of a crazy one, I'm not gonna lie, allowing you sort of to go out of bounds and just kind of whack around all around the map. It is pretty nuts, and this can happen just randomly. This was kind of just a bit of an oversight, I guess, within the development of the game, and can possibly happen to you too. Now, if you as the player talk to the Ditto that is disguised as a chef in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, and you stand in a very specific position and defeat or catch the Ditto in the battle, the player's character will block the real chef from actually moving into position. This is a bit of a side quest in that game specifically, and it will just cause him to start running in place after reaching the player's position for about 30 seconds. Then he will stop moving and start talking to the player as if he reached his destination, which is really wacky and weird, but kind of a fun one. Now, this is actually a really terrifying glitch if you're a shiny hunter in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but basically this is the double encounter glitch. If the player touches the hitbox of 2 Pokemon that are wild, Pokemon at once, they will encounter only one of the Pokemon, but both will actually despawn. So yeah, if you end up by any chance running into two Pokemon at the same time and one of them is shiny, you'll lose them. It's pretty wild, but it can happen. Next up in Pokemon Sword and Shield, we have the Berry Tree glitch. Now, this glitch involves shaking a berry tree from behind, and eventually it will allow you as the player to walk through walls. Now, I actually did this glitch back in the day when Sword and Shield came out in 2019, but the fun part is you can't really do anything with it. You can kind of just go around the open world, I guess, and just kind of just float in the sky, but given that it happens in a very secluded area, you can't really explore the rest of the world or warp anywhere particular like you could in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. But fear not, there is a different game that allows you to do some wacky stuff, which is Pokemon BDSP, where you can do the Surf on Land glitch. Now, yes, somehow BDSP ended up being the most buggy of games we've ever had, or at least the buggiest since probably Diamond and Pearl and or Pokemon, I guess, Red and Blue. But basically, this glitch allows you to surf on land, and this is also a way to access certain Pokemon, probably again the same way you would get your hands on Shaymin and Darkrai back in the day. You can use that pretty much here again. Next up, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, which doesn't have that many glitches and bugs, but there is one though, which is the Shiny Giratina Crash. Now, if you have a Shiny Origin Form Giratina in the game, which uses the move Shadow Force, the game will crash. This is due to the fact that the Origin Form Giratina having a special animation for using Shadow Force, which is actually not programmed for its Shiny variant. And as a result, the Shiny Giratina will kind of just begin to execute the move out of the game, but will crash because it just loads the wrong animation and only partway through. It is pretty crazy and causes a weird glitch out. Next up, we have the Pokeportal News Bad Egg. Now, the Pokeportal News event on the February 27th to March 12th in 2023 for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was the one that introduced the Walking Wake and Iron Leaves in the 5-star Terra Raid battles. However, it was possible to update the Pokeportal News event data while still remaining on Scarlet and Violet's version 1.1.0, which, well, think about it, you're on the wrong version, which doesn't have the update version 1.2.0, which would also include the models and all the stuff needed for the Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. And as such, if you attempted to join a 5-star event raid after going online in version 1.1.0 during this period, these raids would just result in you getting a bad egg instead of getting the Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, which is pretty crazy because, yeah, this is a glitched out event, bad egg Pokemon. Pretty nuts.